Why does God delay answering our prayers? Why is there always a delay to seeing His justice for our lives? Jesus gives us the answer. Luke 18, He gives a parable in paradox. An unjust judge, a widow, totally opposite of what our God is. Our Father is just. But the story begins with Him saying, men ought always to pray and not faint. Continual prayer does help us and sustain us so we don't faint in the process of waiting for God to answer our prayers, bring His justice. The judge is unjust as the parable goes on, and he doesn't fear God, he doesn't fear man, he's not manipulated by any of that. But he was wearied by the widow looking for justice. And in doing so, he provides justice. And Jesus says, does not God provide justice to His own? I tell you, He does it speedily. He will avenge us quickly and provide that. Why, then, does it take so long sometimes? Well, Jesus answered that in verse 8. But when the Son of Man comes, will He find faith on earth? Our faith is pretty simple. It's the ability to interact with God, know His ways, and trust His integrity of His character. In the Garden of Eden, that was where it began. Did God say? And is God faithful? That's the problem that we run into. Because there's something God is after more than giving us an answer to our prayer, or even providing justice to an injustice done. He will do it. He will do it speedily. But we're in the way of that answer. The biggest thing He is after in our lives is the transformation of our relationship with Him. The character changes in us that will trust His character. God is after that in our faith. All the other things that go on, He is willing to delay an answer to produce something that is so incredibly valuable for eternity, and that's when your character is transformed and becomes like Christ, and you start trusting the Father in the midst of the storm, in the midst of you needing a miracle. You're leaning in and you're waiting for God to answer.